EHR, electronic health record, and this product is available in desktop as well as in cloud solutions. So desktop and cloud providing similar kind of functionality, but in some of the cases on the cloud we are working on to make it one-to-one. Okay, so so this is product is used by many clinician in across many hospitals, and we have a footprint across the globe in Australia, Middle East, US, UK, Canada, Europe, Sweden. So many places we do have footprints, and there are many clients who are successfully using our EHR model to perform their day-to-day work from registration till discharge. This is on a high level on the EHR product which we have in the market. So as you know that this is a healthcare keeps changing it. So due to that, there are a lot of new requirements and new enhancements are coming. Because of that, we have new requirements, and today's discussion is around that. So we are looking for an associate who is good in technologies, have deep understanding, and has a proven record of delivering the quality solutions with a good productivity. Okay, and so as I said, this is a discussion, so I will be asking some of the question, okay, on your projects and your experience, and I might have follow-up questions on your response that I will be asking, and I will be taking a note for my future reference. I believe that is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Okay, okay. So any questions before starting?
No.
Okay, so let's start that. I have given my high level overview about that, all these things. I want the same from you. You're kind of, I'm aware of that you are SohiniOracle. Okay, so
Yeah.
so I'm more interested in your technical background and the work which you had done.
Yeah. So, as you can see from my resume, so total 7 years of experience in this software development industry I am working. So, in my current project, I gained the experience in Java and J2E technologies, which includes mainly Spring Boot and microservices framework. Along with that, we have used message brokers, which is Kafka. Also, we have used the Spring JPA, Spring Hibernate concepts. And along with these back-end technologies, I also got opportunity to work in front-end stack, which is React.js. So I have transformed myself in last 3 years as a full stack developer, along with the knowledge in DB, SQL, NoSQL databases. Okay, so beyond this development activity, I do have knowledge in Docker, Kubernetes, and CI/CD pipeline. Current the project that I am working on, it is a voice activation manager. It's a telecom domain project. So which is like for each and every SIM card that we use, right? From a user perspective, like a service provider perspective, like if you think like Airtel or Geo. So from their perspective, we will do the configuration, the voice configuration mainly for the 5G, means several SIMs we can do because 5G is now in the market. That's why all these 2G 4G sims all are kind of outdated, so we are mainly supporting for 5G sims only. Okay, so previously our whole application was a monolithic architecture. We came up with a concept of microservices because we have several voice activations, like daily 5 lakh 7 lakhs voice activations we need to do. Okay, so that's why we came up with that microservices architecture and process. So how we have developed, we created the microservices architecture where it is like it's having just a minute, sorry to interrupt. Ju- Just a minute, someone came to my door. Just 1 minute. I'm sorry
Sure,
to
sure, sure,
interrupt. Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah, sorry, I'm continuing. I'm sorry. So the microservices architecture we are following, it's having like means first we have the gateway, which is our API gateway. So that is not a specific to any cloud service gateway. We are using it. We are using like a API gateway that we have already done by ourselves. That is also a kind of a Spring Boot project only. We have made it. So we have load balancer, we have filters which are already working there, and it will check our JSON responses, and accordingly it will means give the means it will process the request to my application. Now we have the service registry as the Eureka server, where we can check like all what are the services we have. Okay, now after this we have all the admin servers. So admin servers is kind of a actuator, it's working. So every time we can see the like the heap dump, how the applications are performing, like this kind of things we can see by actuators, and we can also see the logins and all. But for logging we have used ELK, that I will explain you separately. Then we have kind of a publisher subscriber model. So in the publisher we will get the message and we will publish the events on top of our Kafka message broker, and there we have the listeners. We can have multiple instances of the listeners which will be continuously listening or asynchronously listening as per the customer requirement. Like for some customer we have done it asynchronously, for some customer we have done it like every time it should listen and process the data, kind of events data. So like this we have created. For this we have a separate config server as well. So we made all the parent forms, the child forms, everything in a separate in the config server, so that if we are trying to add any dependency or trying to change something, it should not affect the whole project. I no need to deploy, means no need to build the whole project and deploy the same. If we'll change the config server and just directly run it, we can achieve it. And accordingly for this we have used ELK, Elasticsearch Kibana, the for our info level, press level, error level, different levels of logs. So we have done it internally. We have used logger as well. Okay, log SLF4j logger levels we have used. So this is the architecture we followed. So like this the whole thing is. If you would like to know specific something about some part, I will be happy to answer on the same.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Sohini. That's really good explanation. Okay, so I have a couple of questions onto that. So this the one voice activation manager game which you're talking about, that what is the team size?
Okay, so there are several means agile teams are there. So our team it's 8 members. We are 4 developers.
Okay, yeah,
Other than
it.
their testers, product owners, managers like.
Okay, okay. So another thing is that as you had mentioned that it's a big project and multiple agile teams were
Yes.
involved. In one of your agile team, where 4 developers there are involved. Which model you have worked, or you have worked in all the models?
Okay, so I have worked in the voice activation. Like there is not only voice, right? So there is some other configuration like SIM activation is there. So I mean to say that is a different team. For voice activation, we are 8 members are responsible.
Okay, so you are working on that voice model, voice activation
Yes.
model.
Yes, voice activation model.
Okay.
Even if for this we have the UI part as well, as I have mentioned, the React JS. So that also we
Mm-hmm.
only did the architecture and we have worked in. This is an existing product only. It was working for 5G, sorry, 2G, 3G, 4G models. But currently as the data has grown up, it's like lot of data are there. So because of that, we came up with this microservices architecture, and now our product is in lab. It's still testings are going on. So it's in
Okay.
customer lab. In telecom, the things are somewhat different.
Okay, 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 okay. So you mentioned that you say existing project. Earlier it was in monolithic, and after that we have changed it to microservices. So
Yes.
how exactly when do you say that it is a monolithic? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so monolithic means in case of 4G, sorry, in case of 2G, 3G or 4G SIMs, it was like, means we used to get data, but it was in one server. Everything means this, the API gateway I mentioned, right? That we have taken it from the previous modules only, means previous project only. So that was already existing one. So in one particular server only we had all the instances and we used to work on that. So, means if somehow the server is down means everything will be gone down, and the maintainability scalability was somewhat less. So because of the customer requirement and make it more scalable, so we came up with this microservices architecture. And to make it
Mm-hmm.
definitely more, means now our requirement is more complicated, because for this 5G the data are more, like means the configurations levels are more. So to maintain that as well, we came up with this microservice. And also the performance was a issue. So previously our performance, means currently in this project we have incremented the performance by 35%. How we have incremented? Because this message broker we have introduced. Previously we used to use normal JMS queue. Okay, now for this message broker Kafka we have not one instances, we have several instances. So one instances is down means everything is in sync, another instances will come up and start processing the data, and it will make the sync the data for the other instances as well. So like
Mm-hmm.
that, means there can be any customer fault, anything, right? So because of that we came up with this architecture.
Okay. Okay. So you said that it's a publisher. Okay. So when you are coming with the architecture, you would have discussed with among team members and
Yes,
with the
yes.
requirement, and then you would have designed the architecture. So as you said that your team is working on backend as well as front end. So
Yes.
it's a desktop based application or it's a cloud based application. What kind of application?
Okay, currently we are moving it to AWS. Okay, we are trying to make it cloud based. But as I said, it's a R&D team, right? So first we have developed, we use Dockers and Kubernetes to maintain our containers and try to deploy the things as it is in lab. Now we got the requirement, we need to move it to AWS. So we are doing it. Even if we are trying to use the AWS API gateway as well, so that we will means exclude our API gateway and try to use the AWS existing one. So like that we are doing. It's R&D we are doing.
Okay, okay. So in you also mentioned about that configuration at the server level. You have pushed that POM at the server level. If any dependency is changing, we need to change it at the server level. So you said that it is not going to impact any of the front end, any of the service, and
No,
we
no,
don't
no,
need to do the.
not the front end part. I'm saying I'm talking about only the back end part. So back end, whatever Java microservices we have, so we will declare the dependencies in the POM, right? Suppose we want Spring Web. No, Spring Web is like we are using anyway, right? Like suppose we want this Kafka dependency for publisher, we want the Kafka dependency, and for subscriber we want the Kafka listener dependency. So in those cases we will just add in the child forms, and we will be restarting only the config server, so that it will be getting reflected in the whole microservices architecture
Okay, so that is on the deployment part
on the
because you're talking about
deployment.
the Kafka. So Kafka
Yes.
is definitely it does at the time of development, and when we are deploying that the time it comes. So the another thing is that so how do you manage that if there is a change in the dependency, if there is kind of vulnerability or anything has come up? So how
Okay,
do you
okay, okay.
manage?
Okay, so we have means see, we have currently used 3.4.8 I think for Spring Boot versions. Okay, so for that we have faced any vulnerability. Mm, so we were using Logger, I remembered, so that we went to the SLF4J, okay, for some vulnerability issues. Okay, but apart from it, we did not get much. but we will be always checking by some other team, means the testing teams are there, they will be always checking from the security perspectives. Okay, so we have the SSA tokens for all the microservices that will communicate with each other with by authorizing by CA. Okay, so these things we will be doing every time, but we did not face much vulnerability still now.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Okay.
If we are
So
facing also, we won't be like for this spring boot, like we no need to declare any version, right? If you are using spring web or something, we no need to declare any version. That will be already taken by that particular version, whatever the like for that what is suitable, that will be taking, right, for that spring boot. So we won't change much in that version. So that's the thing.
okay. Okay. So I've seen that you have mostly worked on the Spring Boot and microservices. And what is the benefit of using the Spring Boot or Spring Framework?
Yeah, so Spring framework, like it, I need to write lot of boilerplate codes. In case of Spring Boot, I need to write less code. It will be always configuration related. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why we are using Spring Boot. Like just only one at the rate Spring Boot application, we will just start the project. So everything will be ready made. We'll be getting. So because of that, we came up with this Spring Boot. Like there are so many
Okay.
lot of things, like we can use at the rate entity, then one entity class will be created. At the rate service, our service will be ready. At the rate rest controller, our rest controller will be ready. So all the features, everything we will be getting at a once. For in case of spring framework, we need to write lot of boilerplate codes.
Okay. That's right. And you have used, what is the difference between microservice and Spring REST?
Microservices and
Spring REST, there is a RESTful web service also, right?
restful web service, that is like uh, no, no, I did not get you. Like, means you mean to say the Spring Web dependency we will use, in that only Spring REST we will use, right? That we will maintain it as at the rate REST controller. But in case of Spring REST, we used to do it with at the rate controller, and then we used to write. So you mean to say that at the rate controller and at the rate REST controller different?
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So in case of Spring REST, I think okay. What was the difference at the rate rest controller and at the rate controller at the rate controller difference, right? Just let me think once. At the rate rest controller, we will be getting the at the rate get mapping and all those things. But in case of at the rate controller, we'll be getting mostly. Um, um, 1 minute. So just a minute. Let me think somewhat. So difference between at the rate rest controller and at the rate controller. Hmm. At the rate rest controller and at the rate controller difference. I'm unable to recall it now. We nowadays we there will be some, means in the inside that at the rate rest controller there will be some at the rate controller as well. But with that some extra features for at the rate rest controller we will provide. So it will be 1 minute. It will be the okay. It will be the combination of at the rate response body plus at the rate controller for rest controller. But in case of at the rate controller, the response body we need to separately provide. So that will be
Mm-hmm.
already there. Yeah. Response body. Yeah, I forgot that.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
know how to write the code that one, so I was thinking that how to do.
No issue, no issue. Eh, mm, so I will be asking some programming questions. If you can open
Share
a
my
notepad and
screen.
share your screen.
Yes. You want me to open the notepad or some editor would be fine? 1 minute. I'm entire screen. You just let me know once that my entire screen is visible or not.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, it's somewhat slow one. Yeah,
Okay.
please tell me.
So, so you know that I already told you that we are more closer to the healthcare work, hospitals, physician, and nurse. So it generally happens that when we are going to hospital and for some of the issues, and we hit the registration desk, and then then in the registration desk they ask that if it is a first visit or subsequent visit. So I want you to create a code snippet using Spring framework or whatever you feel that you are fine, okay, to explain that workflow, as well as during the registration they ask about if I have any allergies, right? If any allergies, to store that allergies, and if it is a existing visit or subsequent visit, then just fetch out the allergies which I have. Okay, so there are two things: registration, and second thing is allergies.
Please. And also the existing customer also you told,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that in the registration process should have that workflow, that whether I'm a first time visitor or I'm a existing customer. On the same line, if it is if I am not first time visitor, if I'm a first time visitor, then definitely they will ask about any allergy if we have. If I'm existing customer, then the allergies which was stored into the backend, that will get fetched. Okay.
Okay, just a minute. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
sure, sure.
Hope, hope it is fine now. You are unable to hear any voice, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Any
fine.
sound? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So let me repeat it once. So I need to create a code snippet for a registration. Okay. Where like I need to create a registration code snippet where I need to ask for the new customers who are already there, means who are not there in the database, for them any allergies are existing or not, and for the existing customer I need to just log in. Am I correct?
Yes. Let me reiterate again. So whenever anybody is going to hospital, they hit a registration desk. So first question they ask, it's your first visit into this hospital, or you have visited this hospital earlier also? If it is a first visit, then they register that patient and ask some of the questions for registering the patient. In the questions, they ask if you have any allergies. If the client, the patient says that yes, so they note down those allergies and hit the submit button, and everything gets saved into a backend. Another, in the existing patient, if it is existing patient, they will ask some ID or something they will ask to fetch the data from the backend. And when they are fetching the data from the backend, if there is any allergy was documented previously, that will also uh, uh, reappear, and they can confirm with the patient if they want to add any new allergies, or these are the final one. You got it?
Okay.
For the
Okay.
new
So,
patient, you need to register with allergies. For the existing patient, fetch the data from the backend with allergies.
okay. Okay. So this one I need to write the code, or I need to first tell you what is the architecture I'm going
Yes, first you need to tell the design and
to
architecture how
design
you are
and
planning to do it.
okay. Okay. Let me think once the registration
Sure, sure.
Apache. Okay. So if I'm thinking like it will be a simple Spring web application. Okay. So in that case, what we are going to do once the user is coming to the front end page, so it will first do new user. First, I'm thinking about a new user. So in case of new user, what they will do the new registration. Some button will be there, new registration, existing registration. Suppose a new registration they are coming. So now for new registration, what I am going to do, I will take the name, mail ID, and if any existing allergies that person is having or not, that I will ask, and then directly I will save it in my database. So for this we will call an API. So we will do a post request kind of, and in some JSON data we will pass on top of it, and accordingly we will save the data in the database by using that I will think later what are the things I am going to use. Now in case of suppose the same user, means newly registration is done, right? Now same user trying to log in once again. Now it will go for the existing one, correct? For the existing one, the registration details will be shown. Suppose say it should be shown in the application itself. So once it will go and click in the registration, so the from the database it will try to get the data. So we will do a get mapping, and we will with the ID, if we'll pass in the query param, and then accordingly we will get the data for like existing some allergies are there or not. So accordingly we will get the data in the application. So is it the architecture we are going to accept, or you want me to add something more?
No, that's fine. Mm.
It's fine, right? Okay. Now, okay, so if I am coming to the Spring Boot for that, okay, I'll start with the Spring Starter, means Spring Boot project only. So for that, I'm not writing the @Spring Boot application that dot run method. So I'm just thinking like in the POM, I will take the dependency of the Spring Boot starter and I will create the project. Okay. So
Mhm.
this will be a Spring REST kind of like starter means web dependency. Spring Boot starter web dependency will be there. Okay, and also I need to take Spring JPA dependency in this. So Spring JPA I will add, and Spring DevTools also I can add for my development purpose. And also I will take suppose as of now I am taking the H2 database only. Later on we can add in the application.properties or application.yml whatever the database we want like a NoSQL database or a SQL database, we can do that. For JPI, let me consider I have used some Postgres database only. We are doing the relational mapping only. That will be only most favorable in this way. Okay. So what I will do, first I will create the model. So let me create an entity class for it. So the entity will be, suppose say I'm not writing the whole code. Is it fine, right? Like
Yeah.
small, yeah. So let me create a customer entity class. So in that, suppose I will be having two three fields I should have, right? So I will be having some ID. I'll be having yeah, ID, username, username, then uh, the mail ID, and also the one more thing I will take the allergies. So, do you want me to means do the data types also, like what are the things we are going to use?
Yes.
Because this
Yeah.
everything will be the private variable for this entity class. So private, this will be long. Suppose say, so long. Suppose say let me take, okay, and this username will be private. For string we will take. For the mail ID also, let me take it as same string, and for allergies also let me take the same. Okay, so these are the things. Now if I have the Lombok dependency, at the rate means project Lombok, at the rate data I will declare, and I'm expecting like it should be there, and no arg constructor, and also at the rate some arg constructor, something is there, or parameterized constructor, that some annotation will be there, so both will be available, and also the getter setters will be available with this data constructor itself. So I'm not doing that code part. Okay, so with this, and also we should have, okay, we should declare a primary key also, right? So at the rate id, and we should have a at the rate, let me do it as a generated value, so it will be automatically generated. And in that, let me give some strategy, sorry, it's my spelling mistake, strategy, it should be strategy. And in that, let me give the generation time as identity. So, okay, and in that, let me keep this long. So these are the id is the here the primary key. Okay, now let me think about, okay, now as I have implemented the repository here, right? So in that case I will take a means I will create an interface, okay, which will be implementing the jpa repository. So let me take it as customer repository, and which will be, as it is it is an interface itself. So let me extend the JPA repository. Okay, in that I need to give this customer and the what is that primary key. So it should be like this long, and then I need to, so this is the thing, and then I need to start. Okay, so here what I will do, so here later on I will come like what are the query I am going to write. So there is some existing find by id or find by username, these things will be automatically there, these methods. So this one I will come as per the requirement. Now let me create the controller. So at the rate, let me use the rest controller. So rest controller, and let me keep a default mapping also. So in that I will use customer. Okay. So okay. Now let me create public class customer. Okay. So in this I need to do the dependency injection. So first I will do the dependency injection of this customer repository. But do I need customer repository? That I can do it in service layer, right? So here I need to create a service also. So that I will create. Here I will write all the business logic. So I am creating the service public service. Okay. And in this I'll keep the dependency of auto add. I'm not writing the whole code, just I'm keeping, no, let me write at least private and customer repository. This much will be, yeah. So here I have this jpa repository dependency, and here I will take the auto add, then private, this customer service. Okay. So now suppose say I am trying to add the, means I'm looking for the registration, new registration. In that case what I am going to do is post mapping, take it register. only. And inside that, like, take the request param. Mm, okay. So inside the request param, I will give um, mm, okay. Okay, I will give the string username, username. I will. Okay, here one more thing. I think I need to take mail ID is fine, but I need to take one more password as well. So because again in next time if they are trying to log in that case password we need, right? So at the rate request param, mm, I'll take mail ID. Okay, and so and what else like this I will take for the other things also whatever I want. Okay, so I'm not writing the much code here, and then inside this I will keep like before that you want me to write the end to end all the codes or this architecture is fine at least.
Yeah, architecture is fine. I have some of the questions here. Okay.
Okay.
So the one which just you have created. What do you mean by password?
Okay, so this one we can do it with some Spring security as well. Like if we will use some JWT token, like that also we can use. But the password why I am giving it should not be it should not be string. I think it should be big decimal or something like that maybe. So like when the user is trying to log in for the first time, at that time we will take the username, mail ID, and whatever the password they want. Okay, and we will take the allergies, whatever allergies they have. So
Yeah,
like that
Sohini,
we.
Sohini, just hold on.
Yeah.
What was the requirement?
So you told me that registration, first new registration with some allergies, they have to register.
Okay.
First,
So
I'm
how
thinking of
password is going to help here?
okay. Now for the existing customer, I'm saying they will try to okay. Just I will log in means no need to log in. You mean to say okay, okay. Then I
No, no
won't
need to
take
log
the.
in. No, no, we are at the hospital.
But for suppose say I'm thinking about the Apollo hospital. If some user is already logged in, again after 10 days they want to take one more appointment. Okay, now in that case they will try
Yeah,
to log in,
one
right?
minute, Sohini, I'm talking about that. The registration, I think I have clarified that when I am going to hospital, right?
Okay,
It's a registration happens at the hospital. I'm talking
okay,
about the workflow.
okay, then we no
I
need password. Yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
because I didn't say that because then it will be a problem that if we are giving, okay, they will register themselves, they will add the allergies, and
Yes,
then that is a
yes,
different workflow altogether, right?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so here you have mentioned that long ID, then username, and mail
Hmm.
ID and allergies. Uh, you had taken that allergies as a string type. Is that a right data type?
Mm, so you mean to say so that should not be string like allergies you it will be like some existing drop down from that they will get or they can also define their own allergies means usually they will be able to write a paragraph kind of right in the allergies section.
If you're talking about the paragraph thing, then in that case also, when see, we have to think through that. When a user is fetching the data, if it is a paragraph thing, then it will become very difficult for them to read
So
it, right?
yes, 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 yes. So the allergies one, what else I can use except
Mm.
string allergies. Mm, just let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, what else I can use?
There might be many allergies, right? No, it cannot be one.
Yeah, yeah, it can be multiple. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, got it. You mean to say I can use a list here, list of string.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, okay, okay. And let me think once. So, array list would be only fine for this case. Insertion order will be maintained. Yeah, array list only we can use. So, as of now, let me use list only. Here we will check. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here the request, you have created a customer controller and then you're posting a response.
Okay, and this one also I think I have explained differently. Request param means it will be different, right? Means from the request param I will take right parameters whatever I am accepting. So better I will go with request body concept because
Yeah.
that will be a JSON format. I will pass the data and I will do that. So that what I will try to take, I will take customer as customer as cast like that I will. This one I just got remembered. And accordingly I will return the response also response entity dot okay like if it is okay. So that I will explain. You tell me. Sorry to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think we can move to a different
Shall I write more
segment.
code?
We can move to a different segment. What I was saying that. Okay, I got
Okay.
what I was looking here into the program. Okay,
Program you
another.
want me to write? I will write. Actually, you give me 2 minutes time. I will write at
Sure,
least
sure, sure,
10.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Mm. Mm. So the response entity, right? Response entity dot okay. In that, what I'm going to pass is from the so let me control C here under the service and in that customer service and what I will do here I will create a register method I will create and in that I will pass the cust and this will be done. So with this okay. Now in case of this so here I will create a service right in the service. This is my service and for this I'll be having like so customer service right so that is there now I will take string and register method and that I will take cast and what I'm going to do is I will do the customer record. See this customer history. So customer here I will keep that. Okay, now first I need to think about the register, right? So if I'm thinking about the register, so find by username, in that I will take suppose say, and now customer dot get username, get username. If is present, then I will do that is present. Then I'm going to do is, so in this what I'm going to do is, so if is present, then I will throw a bad exception. So new um, response status exception. Okay, exception, and that I will take the HTTP status dot back request. Okay, and request, and let me keep one more thing also, like user exists. So let me do this, and if it is not there, so in that case what I'm going to do is, in that case I'm going to do that customer repository save, and in that I will pass customer. Okay, and let me return a message, return state registered success, registered success. Let me return this, and also let me take like here I need to define, right? So here let me define the find by username. Okay, so what I can do is let me take the optional only, and in that let me do the customer, and that let me do find the username, and just let me pass the string, and then the user name. Okay, so preliminary I have written the things. You can
Mm-hmm.
see. Yeah. Do you have any question on this?
If user is exist, will it be a bad request?
Oh, if you, but I'm just sending user is exist, right? So first we considered like means registration will be a page and existing customer will be a different page. So in that case, if user means registration page, if someone is trying to do that, so okay, you want me to change the status of bad request, let me keep it something else, but I have given the message, right? User exists already.
Okay, so in other cases, for example, if I'm trying to register a user with without all the required parameters, so at that time also you'll get a reward request, right? You are saying that we are sending a JSON, and in the JSON, if we are not providing that either mail ID, or we are not providing some
Hmm.
other
Hmm.
details, then that time also it will be a bad request.
Hmm. Okay, you want me to? Um,
No, I don't want you to. I just want to understand why did you.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. It okay. Some means as from the customer perspective, if we think somebody they cannot have the mail ID, right? So that mail
Mhm.
ID we can pass it as empty as well. But in case of username and the what is there username, somebody cannot have the allergies as well, right? Username should be compulsory. The mail ID and allergies with respect to the means patient whoever will be coming, right?
Okay. And a bad request can come if there is no authorization is failed, then the authentication fail will come. In something is missing, that is also called as bad request.
Okay.
That it was success because user exists.
Hmm.
You are doing
Okay.
that only. Find by username. Your goal is to identify whether that user present or not. Right.
Hmm. Yes.
So if how that can be a bad request, that's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay. So what I am doing currently, like if user ID is already exist in my DB, I am going to send user is already exist. I am sending a
Mhm.
bad request. But rather than I can choose some other HTTP status, you mean to say.
Yeah, it could be 200 also
Huh.
because it's success. You were trying to identify whether user exists or not. Request was success, get the response, user exists.
Okay, okay. So in that case, I will maintain two codes. One I will maintain 200 and one I will maintain 201. So in
Hmm.
case of 201, while registration is happening, at that time I will do the 201. And when user exists, at that time I will send 200. Like that I can
Because
do.
hmm.
Created and okay. So these two
Yes, yes.
things I will do. Okay, got it. So here only I will do that. So let me do okay this one and yeah, fine right now.
Hmm. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Sohini. Thanks for
Yeah,
writing some code snippet.
yeah,
I got the understanding of that your knowledge on this concept. You rightly use that REST controller to make sure that annotation and request mapping is properly done.
yes,
Yeah, and yeah, auto wired also you have used that helps in reducing the code written also
yes.
automatically. You don't need to put the get set all these
Yes.
things. So you have
Simply speaking,
understanding on
as
that.
per core Java, I no need to write the new keyword and write means try to create an object. Here, what I am doing automatically Spring Boot container will take care of my object or beans, whatever we can say that it will take care and it will create and it will give me the ready-made things.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Uh, Sohini, I think I am done with my discussion. Do you have any question?
Yeah, so the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, thanks for giving me the opportunity to explain a code. Means I was somewhat feeling like I don't know means somewhat nervous. Like first of all, I was trying to understand what is the things you are expecting, and then you have guided me a lot. So I felt like this interview is not like an interview. Other interviews they come like they ask a lot of core Java questions. They won't ask this kind of architecture. So I felt it very nice. So thanks Saravendu for giving a nice opportunity to explain. So I would means this is not related to the interview I'm asking, but I will still ask like if you can provide me some areas where I can still work on it for my next level. So it will be helpful actually.
Yes, Sohini, on the same line that I also feel good that because you were able to explain that many things, Spring Boot, Spring Framework, in the 7 years of experience only, you have many technology and you are aware of that. Few of the things that I will say that we have to be very clear with our basics. So in some cases, I'm not saying that you are not good, you are really good, but here there is a opportunity to improve. Okay,
Okay.
so on the basics kind of things and why we have used this, what is the reason, there might be some other way also of doing it. So open your mind and look for different angle to the
Okay.
problem. Okay, so and another thing is when somebody is giving you requirement, you started very well and you did very well in the writing the code. So to keep in mind the what is the requirement, because
Oh
if
yeah.
one kind of if you use some different field,
Hmm.
and that requirement will go on a different direction altogether.
Yes.
And at the end, what client will say, no, I was not looking for this. I
Yes.
was looking for this. So keep your core development or implementation in line with the design and the
Yes.
requirement, then only it will get success.
Yes.
And you have used right data type, but think through that what should be used, right? There could be think little bit more what it can be. If it could be a list, it should be an array, or what it is. And
Yes.
when you are using those data type, you should be knowing that what is the benefit, why we are using. There are many data types are available, right?
Yes.
We are having list, map, we have vector, we have other data structures also. So
Yes. Yes.
each data structure is capable of managing handling one set of problem. You cannot keep one data structure all over the places, right?
Yes.
So that's a small thing I will say. They just need to, you need to do the brush up. Rest everything was really good. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sharvind. I will try to work on it. Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.